Hiya folks, welcome back to Andy Mac Drums and Andy Mac Farms, where I'm giving you a bit of a guided tour of how to play Farming Simulator 19. I've had quite a few people asking how to get started with it, and they're also after a computer game that can just help them switch off and relax on an evening after a busy day at work and you just want to kind of switch off from the real world for a bit. This is an awesome choice for a computer game to do that. In part 1 we looked at all of your basic game options and your steering wheel settings and how to do a contract, and today we're going to cover off actually buying your own farm and land and some equipment and doing some jobs on your farm. And the first thing we need to do is to actually buy some land. So I would always suggest buying land that's near to the place that you're likely to sell the thing that you're thinking about farming. So for example, if I was going to concentrate on farming for grass and doing silage, well, where do you sell grass? Let's have a look. Grass gets sold, or silage gets sold. Silage is this kind of symbol here, £294 at the minute, and you sell that at the barn. Let's have a look at where the barn is. So here's the barn over here. So if I was going to be doing like grass related stuff, I would maybe think about some fields in this general vicinity. I definitely wouldn't be buying fields up in the top right here, otherwise you've got a long way to go to drive to the barn every time you want to sell your silage. But in the top right here, look at how close a sawmill is. So if you were planning on doing forestry stuff and selling wood, then buying around this neck of the woods, pardon the pun, would probably be quite a good idea, because you don't have as far to drive to sell your stuff. Let's have a look at the land. So to look at the land that you can buy, at the moment we have got how much? Just over $250,000 in the bank. Press the X key on the keyboard, and then if you click on an area, it'll show you all the land that you get along with that field. So for example, if you were to buy this field at the top left corner, there's no actual field on it, but you can make a field. You can make a field from scratch. One thing you've got to be a little bit careful for is that you don't buy land that's like just full of cliffs and things like that, because you can't do very much with it. There's this field 16, it's very expensive, 604,000. That's a lot of money to get you started. Maybe this field 25, that's pretty cheap. It's a bit of an awkward shape. 27's got quite a lot of land around it. 27 is this field directly opposite us here. Now, here's a little tip for you. When you're buying land, if it's already got a crop on it that's ready to harvest, then once you've bought it, you can harvest that crop and get all the harvest income for it. And you can see it is ready to harvest. It's in its first stage of ready to harvest as well, which is good. I don't generally advise buying land that's on the last stage of ready to harvest, because it might switch over to being withered before you get a chance to harvest it. But because this is just on the first stage of ready to harvest, then I think 27 might be quite good. What crop is it? Let's have a look. It is, it's soybeans, and soybeans is quite a profitable crop. That has swung it for me. Let's go for field 27. So X on the keyboard to switch to lands view. I'm just going to click on it. It's 200,000-ish, just past that. Let's buy it. Buy. You sure you want to buy it? Yep. Go. A little kind of cheat on the game is that what you can't... Land always sells at the same price that you bought it for. Vehicles don't. Vehicles depreciate, but land doesn't. So a little cheat that you can do is that you can buy the land, harvest the crop, get the money for the harvest, and then sell the land again. It's not the best way of playing the game, but it's a way of playing the game. Let's have a look at this is our field now. We own this. Field 27, and we own it all the way over to the left-hand side here. So basically, everything up to this little kind of road area here. So we've got a potential area to build a little like a shed and things. I think the first thing we should do is maybe harvest this crop. Let's buy... I think a tractor and a trailer is going to be a good start, because if you're going to harvest a field, you're going to need to have a tractor. I'm going to go straight for a fairly decent tractor. Over the course of the game, you are going to have to take into account of things like the horsepower of the machine that you're buying, because there's certain equipment that you're going to attach onto it, and it will require a specific horsepower, and if your tractor's not powerful enough, it ain't going to work. The only thing to bear in mind with the large tractors is that you can't normally put a front loader attachment on. You'll see we don't have an option here for a front loader. If you go into the medium tractors, we do have a front loader attacher here, and you're going to need that if you ever want to put like pallet forks or things like that on your tractor. You'll need the front loader attachment when you buy your tractor. You can add it later, but it's easier to add it when you buy the tractor. And that's why generally you end up with two tractors, like a medium one and a large one. The large one's more powerful, but we don't have the front loader. The medium one's not quite as powerful, but we've got the flexibility of the front loader on it. I'm going to go straight in for, as I say, a large tractor. Let's just go for a John Deere. I've never had this one before. Couldn't tell you if it's any good, but let's buy it. Yes. Okay. Let's also buy a trailer. We're going to need one to put our crop in when we sell the crop. Loads of trailers to choose from. It depends how much you want to spend. I quite like this kind of one. It's a fairly decent size, a Joskin. You can see it's a 31,000 litre trailer. So versus like this one, okay, it's a little bit cheaper, but it only holds 21,000 litres. You get into some really quite fancy trailers, but at the minute, let's keep it simple. Let's just go for the Joskin. We'll buy that. Yes, okay. Now, I'm not going to buy a combined harvester yet. I don't advise when you first start playing the game that you buy a combine, because they are very expensive and you're going to need a different type for different types of crop. So we're going to be harvesting soybeans, and it tells you at the bottom here what that harvester can handle. If I was to lease this one, it would cost 10,000 to lease it, which is a lot of money. What about this one? See, it's only 5,000 to lease that, and that can set a helper going on it. So I'm just going to lease that. Yeah, we'll go for it. Okay, and we need a header for it as well. And by the way, I've been looking at these little symbols towards the bottom here. I'm checking that it can handle soybeans, which it can. So now I need the header for it. I'll go back into, it's in the trailer section, in the tools section, headers. I know off the top of my head it's this header here, but it tells you the attachment type. So it tells you this one goes with the Nova 330. It's the Nova 330 that I've just hired. So we're going to hire this header. So lease, go for it. Yes, okay. Right, that is everything we need to harvest this field. The first thing I'm going to do is switch over, tab, there's my tractor, tab again, there's the combine that we've just leased. So start the engine, the enter key, and we're going to have to attach that header on. I'm just going to reverse back. Come on, that's it. Q to attach the header. And let's drive off to our field. Okie dokie. So I'm at the field, ready to harvest it. I've also driven my tractor and trailer over as well, ready to unload from the harvester. And all I'm going to do is start the harvester, enter. Let's just reverse back a bit so we're in a good kind of location. Bit close to the road here, but such is life. B to switch it on. Let's just go for it. So that's us harvesting our first field now of soybeans, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner of the screen it tells us how full the tank is on the harvester, and at the minute it's only 5% full, so we're doing absolutely fine. Now these sort of harvesting jobs, you can drive the harvester yourself if you really want. You can sit in the cab and do it from in the cab. It's completely up to you. You can do it from outside the cab. Let's try to not miss any bits. Let's do B to switch the harvester off at the top there. And turn around. B to switch it back on. Come back down. But the easier thing to do is set a helper away doing it. And the helper, it'll cost you a little bit of money, but it's not very much. And the helper will harvest the field for you, basically. So just press H on the keyboard, and that is a helper is now set away. My hands are off the controls. I'm not touching it. And the good thing then is that you can drive the tractor to offload the crop from the harvester, and you can do that at any time. You can either do it once the harvester's full, or you can drive alongside it and do it while it's going. I'll show you driving alongside. I'm just going to switch the help screen off and the map off because we don't need that at the minute, and I'm going to press tab to go into the tractor, start the engine, and let's go and offload some crop from this harvester. Oh, sorry, car. So you can see which side the pipe's on. The helper will automatically put the pipe out when you're in the right place, basically. So you can see the pipe's going out. The helper's being very well behaved. You just kind of keep it vaguely lined up. And once he's empty, you can drive off. You can use cruise control as well. That is with, well, basically use 1 and 2 to adjust your cruise control speed. You can see that we're about 5 miles an hour. So on the bottom right of the screen, I'm just adjusting it to get it at 5 miles an hour. Let me just get out the road of this. When he turns around, he's going to hit me. Otherwise, let's just drive up here a second. So, as I say, just using 1 and 2 on the keyboard, can you see on the bottom right? It's underneath the main speedometer, and at the minute it's on 5. Go all the way down to 0. But I'm going to just set the cruise control speed to 5. I haven't switched cruise control on yet, but it's 1 and 2 on the keyboard to make that go up and down. So I've got that set at 5. Let me just reverse back a bit. Let's go and go alongside him. It's not a very big field, so it's a bit tricky to show you this, but crop destruction isn't on, so I'm safe driving on the field. Once I'm lined up, get lined up, I'm going to press 3 on the keyboard. Oh, I'm not going to get time. 3 makes your tractor drive at the cruise control speed that you've set. It basically switches cruise control on. A little bit too slow. I've just pressed 2 to go up to 6 instead of 5. What's that car doing? No idea. What is that car doing? I'll show you the cruise control thing going back up the hill. So, drive alongside. 3 on the keyboard to switch cruise control on, and that'll, now I've got my foot off the pedals. I don't need to touch the pedals now. But as soon as you touch the accelerator or brake, like a normal car, that then switches cruise control off and you can drive away. I generally just wait until the tank on the harvester is full, rather than following it. You give yourself a lot of extra work. But I think that's enough to get started, isn't it? I'll show you a little bit more on the next episode about actually building your farm, buying some like sheds and things like that, and doing a little bit of landscaping. I'll show you that on the next one. But that's you up and running. You've got a tractor, you've got a trailer, you've got a field. We're harvesting a crop. We've done a little bit of leasing. You're up and running on Farming Simulator. Have fun. Chill out. Thanks for watching, folks. I shall see you next time. Bye.